FM. And it's good to be here again. And it is also good to know you are there. How was the weekend? Hope you had a lovely time and hope you had time to rest during the weekend. Yes, it's Monday, the beginning of another working week. And hope you are up with a vigor and you're set for the job ahead this week. I say good morning to you once again on behalf of the executive producer of all programs coming to you from the stable of Radio TNT 102.5 FM, RG Yemi Zubair. I say welcome all to another edition of the program, The Mainstream. And this is a newspaper review program where we get to travel across Nigeria via the national dailies. This is where you get enlightened, informed, educated about the happenings in Nigeria and of course what is happening right in your neighborhood. And because it's very important to us, you will also get to be a part of the conversation at a particular juncture. Good morning once again. My name is Oluwaseun Fadiora, and I'm anchoring alongside this morning.
I'm yours truly, Nelson OLAOYE. Welcome on board.
Yes, after this time, I'll also be right back to serve you headlines making the rounds. Don't go anywhere. Now serving you headlines making the round. Court summons ASU over strike.
INEC Makinde plot to frustrate voters, APC alleges.
Tukomamo, outcomes of terrorist negotiators' investigations mind-boggling, and this is according to DSS.
500 senior doctors left Nigeria, says medical body.
Policemen feared killed. Gunmen attack Ifia's convoy.
Your school fence collapses 2 children.
Insecurity, Matawale's religious organization, others organize special prayers in Zamfara.
On Queen Elizabeth II, Britain created lopsidedness in Nigeria, says Amici.
Article tax G on humanitarian assistance for flood victims.
Are still on the mainstream this morning. On 2023, Ezefe's visit to Shetima divides Igbo elders.
2023, Dele Alake reveals source of Tinubu's wealth.
On strike, resident doctors divided, adjourn meeting till Wednesday.
How motorists commit suicide, mother on newly renovated Ogun highways.
SARS professors to defend ASU before industrial court.
FCTA removes illegal structures in Apple resettlements.
New Unilorin VC promises fairness.
NCC, NSCDC team up to tackle telecoms crimes.
On Kwara account, APC PDP disagree over forensic audit.
2023, remain focused, finish strong. Abo people tell Governor Ugwuanyi.
Mothers, children with disabilities need support, says Lagos government.
And still serving you headlines this morning. Will retire political tourist Atiku to Dubai, says Shetima.
Atiku condemns attack on Ifeanyi Uba.
FGS courts to order striking ASU back to work.
And as well, DSS warns Nigerians over utterances on Mahmoud's arrest.
Still serving you headlines on today's edition of the program, The Mainstream. Tinubu not dropping out of 2023 race.
And another one, police bust illegal refinery, arrest 2, recover trucks.
DSS may charge detained Mamu to court today, Monday.
And still bringing you stories on the mainstream this morning. Talking Ekiti Osun polls, more questions trail INEC server arcane claims.
Gunmen kill wife of Enugu vigilante operative.
Nigeria records spike in monkeypox, Lassa fever cases.
Fear in Rivers community over gas leaks from divested facility.
And this time around, we have to take another break to return with more with the details to the headlines you've listened to on the program. The mainstream this morning on TNT 102.5 FM. Ijabu Kwara State is where we're located. Don't touch the down. We'll be right back. It's 7:06 a.m.
Is now serving you details to those headlines you have just listened to, and even much more. I will begin by reading from today's edition of the Daily Post newspaper and talking educational matters. Court summons ASU over strike. The National Industrial Court (NIC) has summoned the federal government and the Academic Staff Union of Universities (ASU) to appear before it on Monday, today, in Abuja over the lingering strike embarked on by the union 8 months ago. The summon is coming on the heels of the federal government's decision to refer the trade disputes between it and ASU to the NIC. The federal government is asking the courts to order ASU to resume academic activities, having shut the public universities for 8 months. The letter of summon issued by the court on September 9 and signed by the chief registrar indicated that the National Industrial Court sitting would be as number 11, New Busa Close, Area 3, Garki, Abuja, today, Monday 12th September 2022 at 9 a.m. Well, in case you're interested, you can pick up today's edition of the Daily Post newspaper. And this is the headline: Court summons ASU over strike.
And another dimension to that report, the Punch asked this one, sons, professors to defend ASU before industrial court. Members of the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, who are senior advocates of Nigeria and professors of law, among others, will be defending the union as the case instituted by the federal government at the National Industrial Court comes up for airing today, Monday. The Punch reports that the federal government had dragged the union before the NIC over its ongoing strike, which started on the 14th of February this year. The union is demanding, among others, the release of the revitalization fund for universities, release of earned allowances for university lecturers, deployment of the University Transparency Accountability System (UTAS) for the payment of salaries and allowances of lecturers, release of white paper reports of the visitation panels to universities, and the renegotiation of ASU FGN 2009 agreement. In an interview with The Punch on Sunday, a member of the union's National Executive Council, who did not want his name in print because he was not assigned to speak with the press, said the union would make use of its members who are senior lawyers. Right here is this report, The Punch has it, and here comes the headline to the story. Sons, professors to defend ASU before industrial court.
And still talking about ASU and court matters, Syrup, students sue Buhari, others over ASU demands. And this is on one of the pages of the Guardian newspaper. And the writer there says, reps to intervene on resumption from recess. Now the details. Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project, SERA, and five undergraduates have sued President Muhammadu Buhari and two others over alleged unlawful refusal by the federal government to meet the demands of the striking Academic Staff Union of Universities. Joined in the suit as defendants are Minister of Labour and Employment, Chris Ngige, and Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Abubakar Malami San. The students who are co-claimants in the suit include Dongo Daniel Devu of Plateau State University, Oyebode Joshua Babafemi of Obafemi Awolowo University, Eje Kemkama of the University of Port Harcourt, Peter Ito Owu Anifiok of University of Uyo, and Imam Naziru of the University of Ibadan. According to them, the refusal has occasioned the prolonged strike action and violated their rights to quality education. They said the disruption of classes undermines both the quality and duration of students' education. This situation, the applicants maintained, had aggravated existing disparities in access to university education in the country. further marginalizing economically disadvantaged parents and students. Syrup and the students want the court to declare that the refusal of the defendants to implement the terms of FGN ASU renegotiated 2009 agreement and the 2020 Memorandum of Action, which has occasioned the prolonged strike action, is unlawful, inconsistent, and incompatible with Nigeria's human rights obligations and violates the students' right to quality education. They also want a court order mandating the defendants and their agents to immediately release and pay all earned and outstanding meritorious salary, allowances, and other emoluments, both for the period and outside the period of the current strike action, to all members of ASU. Well, their demands is on and on. So you can pick up today's edition of the Guardian newspaper. Syrup, students sue Buhari, others over ASU demands.
And still talking strike and doctors, resident doctors divided, adjourned meeting till Wednesday. The Punch newspaper says the Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors now has adjourned the meeting of its extraordinary National Executive Council till Wednesday. The council is expected to decide whether members of the association should embark on an industrial action or not. Punch correspondents learned that the meeting, which was held on Saturday, was inconclusive. The meeting was convened as a follow-up to previous ones held to decide on the ultimatum issued to state and federal governments concerning the doctors' demands. The Punch reports that the resident doctors had on the 30th of July issued a 2-week ultimatum to the federal government so as to implement all the agreement it had with them or risk an indefinite strike. On strike, resident doctors divided, adjourned meeting till Wednesday.
And still talking education, I beg your pardon, still talking health matters. Now from the Nation newspaper, NCDC, 36 monkeypox cases recorded in 1 week. The details there. Nigeria has recorded 36 new confirmed cases of monkeypox in 1 week between August 22 and 28, 2022, according to the recent epidemiological report by the Nigeria Center for Disease Control, NCDC. This brings the total number of confirmed cases since January this year to 277, with 6 deaths reported. The additional 36 confirmed cases were reported in 14 states: Lagos 7, Abia 6, Bayelsa 5, Edo 3, Ondo 3, Delta 2, Ebonyi 2, Rivers 2, Anambra 1, Benue 1, Gombe 1, Imo 1, Katsina 1, and Oyo 1. Well, you can pick up today's edition of the Nation newspaper for more. NCDC, 36 monkeypox cases recorded in 1 week.
Away now from health matters, talking security, but this time around on the Nigerian Tribune. 6 policemen fed killed as gunmen attack Ifeanyi convoy in Anambra. The headline again: 6 policemen fed killed as gunmen attack Ifeanyi convoy in Anambra. Heavily armed bandits have attacked the convoy of Senator Ifeanyi, representing Anambra South Senatorial District, at the National Assembly, killing at least 7 persons. Though details of the incident were scanty at first time, Senator Oba and his driver was said to have escaped in his bulletproof sports utility vehicle (SUV). The attack took place around Nko Market in Enugu Uku Injikoka local government area, according to an amateur video showing the affected vehicles on the convoy that had several bullet holes. The senator and his cohort were reportedly ambushed by heavily armed men who opened fire on his convoy. Among the victims found in the vehicles were some of his aides and police officers attached to the senator. Witnesses at Enugu Uku town used their telephone handset to video the affected vehicles that included SUVs and security escort vehicles whose drivers were shot dead and the engines were still steaming with the full headlamps on. The lifeless bodies of the victims were seen lying inside the vehicles, and the windscreens were completely shattered by bullets as shown in the video. Ifeanyi survived the attack because he was in a bulletproof car, according to his aide. The Nigerian Tribune could not reach Senator Oba for confirmation as his line remained busy all through. More to this report, the Nigerian Tribune has it, and here comes the headline. Six policemen fed killed as government attack Ifeanyi Uba's convoy in Anambra.
DSS cautions against unguarded utterances about Kaduna train hostage negotiator. And this is coming to you from the Vanguard newspaper. As a self-appointed train kidnap hostage negotiator, Tukomamu is set for arraignment this week. The Department of State Services has warned against unguarded statements by interested elements. On its part, the DSS says it will no longer offer any comment on the suspect, but will allow the courts to determine the course of events relating to the matter henceforth. The spokesman for the DSS, Dr. Peter Afnaya, gave the information in a statement made available to Vanguard on Sunday night. For more on this headline, DSS cautions against unguarded utterances about Kaduna train hostage negotiator. This is coming to you from the Vanguard newspaper.
And back to the Punch newspaper, Queen Elizabeth II, Britain created lopsidedness in Nigeria, says Amici. The First Republic Minister of Aviation, Chief Mbazilike Amici, has condoled with the government of the United Kingdom on the passing of their monarch, Queen Elizabeth II. Amici described the late British monarch as a great friend of Nigeria, who he said played a very significant role in the country's towards independence. The foremost spoke with some journalists at his Upo in Newi, Anambra State residence yesterday, alleged that the British created lopsidedness in Nigeria. While recalling his encounter with the late monarch, Amaechi described her death as a great loss, saying she played a role with dignity and honor. Amaechi while pointing out that the British government created the problems facing Nigeria today, also blamed Nigeria's leadership for not being able to overcome the imbalances created by the colonial masters 62 years after. He also charged the Nigerian youth to wake up and take back their country from bad leadership and return to the paths of growth. On Queen Elizabeth II, Britain created lopsidedness in Nigeria. This is according to the First Republican Minister of Aviation, Chief Mbazulike Amici.
Nigeria's debt stocks 845.25 trillion naira, and this is coming to you from the Nation newspaper. Nigeria's debt rose by about 4 trillion naira in the past 5 months to take the portfolio to 45.25 trillion naira. It was launched at the weekend. An official data revealed by the Nation yesterday indicated that the government raised about 3.34 trillion naira through its regular issuance of domestic debt instruments between April and August. The depreciation of the naira also impacted the external debt stocks. The document was sourced from the monthly issuance report by the Debt Management Office (DMO), Central Bank of Nigeria, and two leading investment and finance firms that deal in government debt issues, Arthur Steven Asset Management and Vertiva Capital Management Limited. Earlier in the month, the DMO had reaffirmed that the national debt stocks had risen to 41.6 trillion naira by the end of the first quarter, ended March 31st, 2022. The report indicated that the government raised 1.116 trillion naira through bond issuance within the 5 month period. It also raised 1.999 trillion naira through the Nigeria Treasury Bills (NTBS) and mopped up 220.01 billion naira through the open market operation. While we have a lot of figures there, all you have to do is pick up the Nation newspaper to learn more. Nigeria's debt stocks hit 45.25 trillion naira. That is the headline.
Our deadline to this on the Nigerian Tribune, Unilorin VC designate pledges to be fair to all. Vice Chancellor designate of the University of Ilorin, Professor Wahab Egbewale San, has pledged that his incoming administration will be fair and just to the university community in its dealings. A press statement released at the weekend by the university's Director of Corporate Affairs, Mr. Kunle Akogun, quoted the newly appointed Vice Chancellor saying that the University of Ilorin is greater than all of us, and we want to extend our hands of fellowship to all our colleagues who also applied for this post and appeal that they should join hands with us to do this work collectively and in an all-inclusive manner, end of quote. The professor of jurisprudence and international law commended the University Governing Council for conducting a very thorough and painstaking exercise that culminated in his appointment, assuring the council and the university community that this appointment is for all of us and we will continue to put the university first in all our undertakings. End of quote. He therefore appealed for the unflinching support of the people in the discharge of the one task ahead of him. Unilateral VC designates pledges to be fair to all. Nigerian Tribune has it.
Forgive those responsible for your incarceration. Taraba Speaker tells Inyame, and this is coming to you from the Daily Post newspaper. The Speaker of the Taraba State House of Assembly, Joseph Albatu Kunini, has called on the former governor of the state, Wally Unyame, to give all those minded his incarceration. The Speaker made the call at the weekend during a grand reception in Jalingo in honor of Unyame following his freedom after a presidential pardon recently. He said in quote, since the presidential pardon and your freedom, Tarabans from all walks of life have waited anxiously to welcome you back home. Therefore, today is a historic day, and your homecoming is an epoch making occasion in the history of the state. Your Excellency, it is appropriate to describe it as an iconic figure in Taraba State, which you had a rare privilege to govern. In this 7 year term is hard on a person's family, but it is even harder and painful for the person jailed. In fact, there is nothing harder to deal with than incarceration and loss of freedom. Responding, Yame, who was visibly overwhelmed, I beg your pardon, responding, Yame, who was visibly overwhelmed, paid glowing tribute to President Muhammadu Buhari, who made his freedom possible. He said, I want to start with appreciating God Almighty and President Muhammadu Buhari. I want to also appreciate the Council of State that made it possible for me to regain my freedom. Well, we have more to that. From the Daily Post newspaper, this is the headline. Forgive those responsible for your incarceration. Taraba Speaker tells Uyame.
Away from that, on the Guardian newspaper this morning, live on your radio, on the program The Mainstream, Oriwa attacks NAS on instituting judicial panel on alleged military onslaught killings in Southeast. And their riders deploys lack of collective action by Southeast governors against insecurity and kidnappings. Civil rights advocacy group Writers Association of Nigeria Oriwa yesterday urged relevant human rights and judicial committees in both chambers of the National Assembly to institute a judicial panel of inquiry to probe the outrageous onslaught and alleged killings of civilians in the southeast geopolitical zone of the country. Oriwa's national coordinator, Comrade Emmanuel Obiko, in a statement expressed worry of war over the spate of war coordinated kidnappings by suspected armed herdsmen in Imo River Bridge near Umunda, Okigwe, Enugu Lopunta Kigwe roads, and many instances of kidnappings in Owerri and other urban centers of the Igbo-speaking southeast of Nigeria. The right group stressed the urgent need for governors, political stakeholders, and traditional institutions to collectively brainstorm and work out implementable measures to check the growing threat to the country and to the security of the southeast by suspected armed terrorists. Oriwa tasked the National Assembly on instituting judicial panel to alleged military onslaught killings in Southeast. We can read more on the Guardian newspaper.
Zamfara House commends Matawale over cash transfer. The Speaker, Zamfara State House of Assembly, Honorable Nasir Muazu Magaria, has described the monthly unconditional cash transfer introduced by Governor Bello Muhammad Matawale as a catalyst against insecurity and abject poverty in the state. The speaker disclosed this to newsmen in the States when commenting on the program, saying that it would take care of the multidimensional socio-economic challenges among the less privileged and vulnerable ones in the state. He commended the governor for the brilliant strategies to pull the people out of the serious security challenges and abject poverty ravaging the entire state. The speaker also appealed to the electorate in the state to support all government programs, advising those responsible for the implementation of the new cash transfer program at different levels to put the fear of Allah while providing the list of beneficiaries. According to him, the monthly cash transfer of 10,000 naira to 50 beneficiaries from each of the 147 wards in the state. Honorable Margaraya noted that another 20,000 naira to over 8,000 poor and vulnerable, which is to be manned by the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Disaster Management, will cover over 15,000 beneficiaries in the state monthly. The Speaker spoke through the Director General, Press Affairs, the First Status of Assembly, Malam Nasir Usman Biya Biki, further stated that the gesture would promote inclusive governance, thereby promoting human capital development and life of dignity among the citizenry. From the Daily Post newspaper this morning, this is the headline. For a house commends Matawale over cash transfer.
Now let's come back to Kwara State with the Punch having this report. Kwara account APC PDP disagree over forensic auditing. The All Progressives Congress APC, the People's Democratic Party PDP in Kwara State, they have disagreed over whether an external auditor should be engaged to examine the state government account when there is an Auditor General's department in the state public service. The disagreement followed the forensic audit report, which revealed the proofreading of 11.9 billion naira from the Kwara State government account between 2011 and 2019 by an audit firm, SAC, and Professional Services. The PDP, in a statement signed by its publicity secretary, Prince Tunji Morofoye, described the recent audit report by the APC government in the state as another unfortunate shady transaction. He said, quote, "It is pertinent to remind Quaras that an external auditor doesn't have the legal authority to audit state accounts. Such powers rest with the Kwara State Auditor General, who is empowered by law to carry out audits." After firing, albeit unceremoniously, the state's Auditor General for daring to challenge the regime over the missing sum of 6 billion naira, which was neither receipted or retired, one can see why the legality-prone regime of the government decided to tread this path. End of quote. The PDP described the auditing of the state government account as a scam, as the audit firm SAC and Professional Services is inactive, adding that the party's inquiry made it to the audit firm. The Corporate Affairs Commission CAC revealed that the audit firm hired by the government to do the job was dormant. Now a reaction from APC. APC in a statement mocked the opposition party PDP for its ignorant rantings on the forensic audit whose report the state government recently received. The APC in a statement by its secretary, publicity secretary, Alhaji Folarami Aro, said the fact that PDP could not distinguish between a statutory audit, which the Auditor General carries out as a matter of duty, and a forensic audit, which the governor as the chief executive or the executive council can commission on suspicion of any fraud across government agencies, testified to why the state was in such a big mess under their regime. The headline today is Akwara account. APC PDP disagree over forensic auditing on the Punch newspaper.
Service is known to the world as well as a great profit margin. Do you want what you do to go beyond the shores of Africa? Do you want your occasion and events to get your targeted audience without stress? Do you want your voice heard like never before? Look no further. TNT Radio 102.5 is here for you. Put your wares, products, and services right in the waiting hands of your customers when you advertise with us. We use this medium to thank our old and new listeners. We're committed to giving you the best of information, entertainment, and education always and every day. Do stay with us as we take you global Visit our commercial unit today for announcement and advert placement. TNT 102.5 FM along at Shekwo Road, Ijabu, Kwara State, or telephone 0909 888 1025 or 0909 777 1025 or 0704 422 1025. TNT 102.5 FM radio. It's your business, our platform, and your profit.
Yes, Radio TNT 102.5 FM. It's your business, our platform, and your profit. So, what are you waiting for? Yes, in case you're just joining us, this is the Mainstream, a newspaper review program where we get to take you across Nigeria. And yes, we were serving you details to those headlines that's been read to you earlier on the program. And still doing that and still talking political matters. ADC crisis almost to threatens Kachuku with 20 billion naira defamation suit. And this is on one of the pages of the Guardian newspaper. In what comes as a worsening of the crisis in the African Democratic Congress, ADC, the national chairman, Ras Nwosu, has threatened to drag the party's presidential candidate, Dumebi Kachuku, to court for reportedly making unfounded claims against him. Also gave Kachuku 7 days to withdraw the traducing statement or face a 20 billion naira defamation suit at the High Court of the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. The preferred remedies in a letter by his counsel, Sam Karbo, the principal partner in the law firm of Jackson, Karbo and Associates, are to include damages in the sum of 20 billion naira for the injury and damage you have inflicted on the reputation and public standing of our client, an injunction to restrain you from publishing the same or similar statements in the future, and cost of the suit. The correspondent specifically asked Kachuko to retract his slanderous, libelous, and traducing statements against Raps Oke Nwosu. The lawyer informed the presidential candidate that unless he carries out the retraction of the damaging statements within 7 days from the date of service of the letter, the law firm would have no option than to drag him to show cause and pay 20 billion naira damages to Nwosu. Well, a very long one there. ADC crisis also threatens Kachuku with 20 billion naira defamation suit from the Guardian newspaper.
Still talking politics, Nigerian Tribune is where we are and picking up the story with this headline. Despite vote of confidence, IU faces critical week in battle for survival. Another detail. Despite having a vote of confidence passed in his favor during the last meeting of the National Executive Council, the National Executive Committee, neck of the People's Democratic Party (PDP), the chairman, Dr. Iyocha Ayu, faces critical times ahead of him as his adversaries have ostensibly concluded plans to wrap up pressure on him to step aside. Credible party sources revealed to the Nigerian Tribune on Sunday that beyond the remarks by Governor Nyesom Wike and other prominent opponents of IU in PDP, part of the strategy that will unfold this week is the use of political pressure groups and surrogates to engage the media to press for the resignation of the party boards. The river has already dismissed the vote of confidence passed in IU as a charade, and that is of no effect, given the fact that such action had not helped former PDP chairmen who had found themselves in similar situations in the past. Findings also revealed that even though Wike has remained resolute on his membership of the PDP, he is said to be willing to do all that is necessary to stop Atiku Abubakar from winning the election unless he facilitates the correction of the seeming balance in the organogram of the main opposition party by allowing the ouster of IU and his replacement by a southerner. On the Nigerian Tribune newspaper, here comes the headline on politics. Despite vote of confidence, IU faces critical week in battle for survival.
From the Vanguard newspaper, Tinubu already wealthy before politics, says Dele Alake, the director of strategic communication of the All Progressives Congress (APC) Presidential Campaign Council. Dele Alake has defended the source of wealth of the party's presidential candidate, Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, saying he has known Tinubu to be wealthy before politics. Alake, who made this assertion in an interview on Channels Television's Sunday's Politics, noted that Tinubu has been trading his thoughts over the years to build his wealth. He attributed the source of Tinubu's wealth to investment in the stocks of blue chip companies. Alake, however, did not disclose whether or not Tinubu owns or has investments in any company in Nigeria. He said in quote, "What is my business about the company that he owns in Nigeria? If tomorrow you become like Bella Ahmed Tinubu, why should I be bothering about the companies you own? As long as it is not proved that you have taken the money of your state or whatever company you work for. It is not proven and you are not indicted in any court of law. Why should I now be bothering my head? It is an extraneous issue, and like I always say, pandering to the whims and caprices of those who are jealous and extremely envious and suffering from OCH, obsessive compulsive hatred of Ashiwaju," he said. For more on this headline, Tinubu already wealthy before politics sells daily Alake. This is from the Vanguard.
Back to the Punch newspaper talking 2023, still on politics. Ezefe's visit to Shatima divides Igbo elders. About 2 weeks after the visit of a former governor of Anambra State, Dr. Chukwuemeka Ezefe, to the All Progressives Congress APC vice presidential candidate Kashim Shatima, the Igbo Elders Consultative Forum, which he chairs, is seriously divided, the Punch has learned. Although the official statement had claimed that it was a courtesy visit, sources said it had thrown the Consultative Forum into controversies as members who had been champions of the Igbo presidency and supported the presidential candidate of Peter Obi of Labour Party remained divided. This division among the members of the organizations was fueled by the cancellation of two press conferences earlier scheduled for 1 p.m. on Tuesday, 14th of June and Friday, 24th of June, 2022, as ACFA's residents in Asokoro at the last minute, one explanation was given. Since that time, the Consultative Forum had maintained a deafening silence, thereby fueling more speculation that politicians may have infiltrated its members. There's more to this report, and it revolves around politics. 2023, ACFA's visit to Shetima divides Igbo elders.
From the Guardian newspaper, IPOB declares Tuesday sit at home over Kano Buhari's visit to Owerri. And now serving you the headlines there. Before then, we have a rider there. No one can threaten Buhari, and this is according to the Imo government. The indigenous people of Biafra IPOB yesterday announced Tuesday, September 13th, sit at home day and total lockdown in the southeast and south-south regions. It stated in a statement by its Media and Publicity Secretary, Emma Powerful, that the civil action was necessary because its leader, Mazi Nnamdi Kano, is built to appear in court on that day to continue his trial, while President Muhammadu Buhari would be visiting Imo State. Kano has been in the custody of the Department of State Services, DSS, since last year. Powerful said that the court case was earlier slated for October 11, but was brought forward to September 13, added that the call for a sit-at-home is to demonstrate our solidarity with a leader who is bearing our yoke in detention for over a year now. He added IPOB never issued a new directive to Biafrans, but is simply implementing an existing order to lock down Biafra land any day that the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra will appear in court. And now quickly taking a reaction to that from the state government. But the Imo state government, in a swift reaction, dismissed the sit-at-home order and asked Imo residents to come out to welcome Buhari on Tuesday, September 13. Briefing newsmen yesterday in Owerri. The Commissioner for Information and Strategy, Declan Emunumba, who informed that the president will arrive at the Sam Mbakwe International Cargo Airport in Owerri, warned that nobody should obstruct the movement of the people. Emelumbu said nobody can threaten the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Security is guaranteed during his visit. I can tell you that there can be no threat. It disclosed that the president would inaugurate the 35-kilometer Owerri Olu Road The first phase of the 48-kilometer Owerri Okigwe Road and the renovated Imo House of Assembly complex located at New Owerri. For more on this headline, IPOB declares Tuesday sit-at-home over Kano. Buhari's visit to Owerri and rather there, no one can threaten Buhari, says Imo government.
500 senior doctors left Nigeria, says medical body. The Medical and Dental Consultants Association of Nigeria has disclosed that about 500 consultants in various medical fields had left the service of government hospitals for practice abroad due to better conditions of service. The association's president, Dr. Victor Makanjola, disclosed this yesterday while he was fielding questions from journalists shortly after a briefing on the resolution reached at the end of the association's annual general meeting in Benin. He blamed the problems in the nation's health sector on largely unresolved issues by the government, with healthcare services leaving the shores, with healthcare workers leaving the shores of the country in droves for more secured lives with better conditions of service. 500 senior doctors left Nigeria, says medical body.
Reading from today's edition of the Nation newspaper, we have this headline. Will retire, I beg your pardon, will retire political tourist Atiku to Dubai, says Shetima. And rather there says ruling party diversionary, says PDP's campaign spokesman. The details there. All Progressives Congress vice presidential candidate, Senator Kashim Shetima, yesterday explained why People's Democratic Party candidate Atiku Abubakar will not win next year's election. He said if excellent track record of service delivery, qualitative leadership, and capacity for grooming competent administrators are criteria, Atiku cannot match the APC candidate Asiwaju Bola Tinubu. Exuding confidence, Shetima said the Tinubu Shetima ticket will retire the former vice president in 2023 poll. The former governor of Borno State spoke in Abuja when his support group, APC National Integrity Movement, visited him. Also yesterday, APC chieftain Mr. Osita Okechukwu chided Atiku and the PDP national chairman, Dr. Iyochia Ayu, for deliberately breaching the agreement on power rotation between the North and South. But the PDP fired back, accusing the APC of avoiding issues germane to the 2023 poll. For more on this headline, will retire political tourist Atiku to Dubai, says Shetima from the Nation newspaper.
And on the Guardian newspaper with this and more on Ekiti Ocean polls, more questions, the trail INEX server hacking claims. And there are riders. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 riders. We just go through to the detail just in time. Reactions have continued to trail disclosure by the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu. The hackers attacked the result viewing IRV portal during the recent Ekiti Osun State governorship elections. A civil society organization, IAGA Africa, had organized the meeting to introduce the election result analysis dashboard report and the agenda at the weekend. Yakubu, while delivering the keynote address at the Stakeholders Conference on Election Result Management in Abuja, it disclosed that the technical concern for INEC was a repeated attempt to break through a cyber security system for the portal. Our engineers reported several cyber attacks on the portal during the Ekiti and Osun State governorship elections, some of them from as far as Asia. I'm glad to know that all of them failed. However, while we are very confident in the security solutions that we have deployed and on our level, we must remain vigilant and continue to strengthen our defenses. We have tasked our engineers to do everything possible to fully protect the IRV and all web resources. While speaking to The Guardian, the founder of Jesus Systems and Service and Sciences, Jide Awe, said only INEC could give specifics of the incident. The executive secretary of Association of Telecoms Companies of Nigeria, ALTEN, Ajibola Olude, said it is possible for INEC server to be hacked, while he also stressed there is no server that cannot be hacked. another angle to this. The chairman, Mobile Software Solution Nigeria, however, said these follow-ups must be looked into to ascertain the nature and structure of the attack. There's more to this report, a long one there. If you want to read more to this, you pick up today's edition of the Guardian newspaper. Talking Ekiti Osun polls, more questions show INEC server hacking claims.
Yes, and this is how far we can go. 7 youth stories this morning on today's edition of the program, The Mainstream. And now it is time for you to be a part of the program as we like to take feedback. But while you are doing that, the phone lines will soon be opened. But before we open the phone lines, remember to move away from your radio set whenever you call. And also remember to summarize everything you have to say into 60 seconds. And don't forget that vulgar words would not be allowed on this platform. And to be part of the program this morning, the studio lines are 0701 3841025 or 0909 444 1025. You can also dial 0905 897 3138 0905 897 3138. Hello, good morning. Good morning, sir. And many thanks for being a part of the program this morning. Take FM, good morning. Good morning, sir. Good to have you. Okay, thank you. Is there any thanks for being a part of the program this morning? Hello, good morning. Good morning, sir. You're welcome. Thank you. Yes, thank you. You've exceeded the time limit. It's sorry, we have to let you go there. You've exceeded the time limit. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
That's a lot of I am Alaji Arugadi on
You're welcome.
I've asked you and that information so I hope and prayer that each of keep everybody with the doubt in that party and the great as reaction. I think it's the affected state, but the opportunity to be with the topic as well about the right effective recognition of this thing is further. Both parties say that both have our contact are at the end. We don't know the magic that has to do with the lockdown. It cannot hold down. The next public is to be lockdown will be Hamurian as for both have as state. However, that action is not for ended so that we can really know what because we are all the things and all of us.
And God bless you and many thanks for being a part of the program. Hello, good morning. You're welcome. Okay, thanks for that. Yes, thanks for the observation. Yes, we're still picking calls this morning. Good morning. Oh, sorry, we lost that. 0909 444 1025 or 0701 384 1025. Good morning. You're welcome.
God bless you too. Thank you very much for calling. Hello, good morning. Thank you for joining.
Good morning.
Good morning to you.
And this is Desire from the law.
You're welcome.
That's all right. Just
Encourage them to stay in the country.
Provide better services.
Yes.
Hello, good morning.
what you have to please, 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 don't forget. I'll make it easier.
All right.
What you do is just to
Thank you too for calling. You didn't tell us your name. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Where do you call from? Where are you calling from? Thank. All right. Thank you very much. All right. Thank you for calling. We appreciate you. We appreciate and we love you as well.
Yes, and thanks for the commendation. I think we should just start going now.
We should. We should. And this ASU strike, only God knows when it will end. Now it has dragged itself to court. Whether it was the federal government, because the news you read, the federal
Yes.
government dragged ASU to court. And ASU has also reported to court with professors and sons.
And you know, we all know how court matters are in Nigeria.
Well, it's an industrial court. I don't know how quick it could be to be resolved. But the fact that someone had dragged another to court, then it looks like it's going to be a long battle or a long rope to pull. But let's just pray that we can have a solution.
We also we pray so. So let us just keep hoping and keep praying that everything will be resolved. But for students out there, you know, by now I hope you are laying your hands on something. You're not just staying at home for the 8 months. You know, even for that period of 8 months, you could have acquired maybe a skill or something. Even do online courses and there are things like that. Add value to yourself. No matter what is happening, what the government is presenting to you, just add value to yourself. That is the best you can do for yourself. Maximize the opportunity.
Absolutely. We'll go now. We'll return tomorrow by the grace of God Almighty. I'm using this opportunity to inform every listener of this darling now that People's Assembly, your favorite current affairs program, live on your radio, TNT FM 102.5, return today at 4 p.m. according to our producers.
Hooray. See you tomorrow.
Please do join me. I implore you, advise that you join me on today's edition of People's Assembly.
Yes,
at 4
see you
p.m.
tomorrow.
Nigerian time.
I am OLAOYE SEUN FADIORA. Have a lovely week.
I'm Nelson Allow you. Have a fantastic Monday.